My name is JD Bradley, and I've had a hell of a life that's given me a unique perspective and crazy stories that I share here.
Jim Morrison's grave. Yeah, Jim Morrison from the Doors. I was stationed in Germany, and those were some of the greatest years of my life. And I loved Germans. And I'll go off on a little brief tangent here about Germans. I learned to speak German when I was there. I immersed myself in their culture. I got my clothes in a German mall. I got my hair cut in a German barber. My girlfriend was a stewardess for Lufthansa. Hey, Claudia, I hope you hear this. And she and I are in contact on Facebook. But anyway, well, being in Germany, you have access to lots of other places in Europe. And a very nearby place was France. And you know what's in France is Paris. You know what else is in Paris? Is Jim Morrison's grave, the Lizard King, the legendary singer, poet, author Jim Morrison. A man I have so much fucking respect for. A man that turned me on to Nietzsche, for goddamn sakes. And I have a Nietzsche tattoo across my back, and I would have never come across Nietzsche if it wasn't for Jim Morrison. Now, at this point, I'd like you to pause this podcast and put on a YouTube video of the Doors waiting for the sun and play that while listening to the rest of this. I would appreciate that. But anyway, I took two trips to Paris. I took one with my friend Paul Lutch, but that was after this one. We just got back from the Persian Gulf and we took like a day trip there, and it's cool to unwind. But before that, I took a more important one. Um, I got I don't know, a package deal. There were still travel agents back then, but anyway, I got a package deal and I went with some dude that I barely knew from like I think Alpha Company. And so we're staying at a hotel, mid downtown Paris, and there was a bar not too far away, and we went there and I ordered a beer, and it seemed expensive. And this is before the euro, and so it's French francs. And I did the math in my head. I was like, oh fuck, I just paid $17 for that beer, and that was the only beer I had in Paris. But that wasn't why I came there anyway. I came there to visit Jim. So I told my buddy I wanted to see Jim Morrison's grave, and he didn't care for that, and he wanted to go do something else, and that's fine with me. No disrespect, but my reason for the there was to go to see Jim Morrison. So I walked in front of the hotel, and there was a cab, and this is back in the old cab days where they just park there like fucking vultures waiting for you, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I get in the cab, and I said, "Hey, do you speak English?" And he spoke perfect English, and he said, "Yes, I speak English." And I said, "Do you know where Jim Morrison's grave is?" And he said, "Oh, very much so. I'm a huge Doors fan." And I said, "Well, I'm a huge Doors grave." And he said, "Yes, I can." So this dude really knows Paris. I mean, really, really, really fucking knows Paris. I don't know if he's Parisian or not, but he knows Paris. So he is bobbing, weaving out these fucking little cobblestone streets. Like, amazing. He's a great driver. And he gets me there, and like, it's actually not even a fucking mile from the hotel room. Not even. But we get there. I'm like, "Hey, thanks a lot, man." And he goes, "Nah, I'm going to wait for you right here." I'm like, "Well, you're going to charge me a whole lot for that." And he said, "No, I'm not." And he said, "I'm a huge Doors fan." He said, "If you're a huge Doors fan, you're a friend of mine in my book." And I'm like, "That's cool." And he said, "I'm going to sit here and eat my lunch." He said, Go say hi to Jim. Tell him I said hi." And I can't remember this dude's name because it was a long time ago, but he actually told me his name to tell Jim hi. I can't remember who did that at this point. But anyway, so I said, okay. And he pulled out a bag and he pulled out a sandwich and he started eating the sandwich. And I walked into the graveyard. And I'm like, fuck, man, how do I find this thing? Except for I go straight through the fucking fence. And this is one of those ancient European damn graveyards. It's been there for centuries and centuries and centuries and centuries, and it looked fucking amazing, like centuries old gravestones and shit. But anyway, I only walked maybe 20 feet, and I saw some graffiti, and it said Jim, simply Jim, with an arrow. And I was like, oh, I bet this. What about Jim Morrison? So I followed it. There's graffiti the whole way, and so it wasn't at all difficult to find Jim Morrison's grave. And I get there, and there's got to be fucking 30 people there from maybe 20 countries. And everybody's visiting Jim. We all came with the same thing. Well, there I'm giving reverence to Jim Morrison, and joints are being passed around. And being a soldier, I was subject to urinalysis but then somebody handed me a joint, and I had a decision to make. I was like, I can get high at Jim Morrison's grave and take a chance that I will get piss tested and be in a lot of fucking trouble. Or I could just hand this joint off and walk away like a punk and be able to say that I didn't get high at Jim Morrison's grave. That didn't seem like an option to me. So I hit that joint. As it turns out, and these are the days before I drove, but it was some fucking good weed. I hit it. It was a little bit too tight, so I had to puff, 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 but then I got to get hit. And I held it. I passed it, and I took 2 more hits, and I handed it off. And as soon as I handed it off, I got another fucking joint. Man, I got good and fucking baked at Jim Morrison's grave. I got baked enough that I decided I was making some bad decisions, possibly, and it was time to go. But you know what? I had got high at Jim Morrison's grave. But anyway, it was time to go. So I reverse followed the graffiti back to the cab. You know what? That motherfucker was still there. What a cool motherfucker. I get there and he goes, you're high. I was like, yeah. He said, I'm proud of you. I said, man, I'm proud of you for being here. And he took me back to my hotel. And that's pretty much the whole damn story. I got high at Jim Morrison's grave and I couldn't afford any more beer in Paris. But mission accomplished. I was so fucking happy with that. I hope you enjoyed the story. Thank you for listening. As always, please share on social media and take the time to recommend this podcast or this episode or both to 3 like minded friends. Have a good day, my friends.